A Mail Order / Internet Sales Guide 2. Chapter 1. Mail Order / Internet Sales Checklist. Starting capital. To purchase starting supplies. Cost of a website and hosting fees. To pay for 2 or 3 publication ads to test your offer. To pay rental for a minimum of 1,000 names for a direct mail program plus postage costs. To pay for preparation and layout of a display ad. To pay for artwork and typesetting of circular. To pay for additional or continuing promotions if initial results are encouraging. Costs to cover promotion expenses if further testing is required. Extra capital to allow for unforeseen and unexpected expenses. Locating products to sell. Look through the mail order sections of magazines to check what types of products successful mail order dealers offer. Do research on manufacturers through the thomasregister.com and in Asia. Look through Chamber of Commerce websites. Get my business book for lists of suppliers. Attend trade shows with gift, jewelry, household themes, etc. Watch for new product listings in trade journals and magazines. Check out closeouts, surplus, and overstock offers. Contact mail order supply sources. Design, develop, manufacture or publish your own products. The advertising copy. Use attention-getting, bold headline copy in ads. Illustrate the product if space permits. Write copy in brief, down-to-earth style. Avoid any overly clever, tricky phrases or expressions. Be sincere, don't exaggerate. Describe the product clearly and fully. Stress the you approach, tell how the offer will benefit him. Avoid over-talking about yourself or your company. Instill confidence, make the prospect feel you're honest. Stir him into action to order your product. Give specific directions for ordering. Provide a guarantee of satisfaction or money back. Tailor the ad / literature to fit the prospect you want to reach. Testing your offer. If capital permits, test more than one magazine. Test more than one ad, each in a different publication. Try split runs if the magazine offers regional or sectional issues. Continue a successful ad without change until its pull drops to a break-even point. Don't rush to change an ad that is pulling well, experiment slowly. The changes could be size of ad, copy, different appeal, new headline, another illustration, or new price. Offer a bonus, something free or at reduced price. Key each ad or mailing to determine where results were derived. Keep accurate records of returns from each promotion. Sales literature. Usually consists of sales letter, descriptive circular, or folder order form, return envelope. Some offers are effectively sold by only a sales letter. Effective sales letter must create IETA, attention, interest, desire, action. The circular should fully illustrate or describe the product. It must provide more detailed information about the product, its uses, benefits, advantages, and other special appeals. Return envelope is an essential part of sales literature to make it convenient for the customer to mail the order. Mailing sales offers by first-class mail vs third-class mail usually shows no appreciable difference in results. Mailing envelope can feature an attractive design or teaser message to induce the recipient to open and read the offer. The product supplier. Develop or produce your own mail order sales item if possible. Try to arrange exclusive mail order rights with the supplier. Establish supply sources close to home to save delivery time and shipping costs. Seek lowest price if item is offered by 2 or more suppliers. Order larger quantities, if you can afford such purchases, to get lower prices or greater discounts. Ensure the supplier is reliable and will provide the merchandise you plan to promote, that he will ship orders promptly. Consider only products which allow an adequate profit margin, at least a 3-to-1 profit markup on lower priced items. Consider a supplier who is willing to drop ship your orders directly to your customers. Seek at least a 50% discount. The selling price. Price merchandise fairly, give customers their money's worth. Include postage or shipping costs in selling price. Use round numbers, $3, $5, etc., for lower priced items to make it convenient for customers to remit payment. Allow for all costs in marking up prices, postage, overhead, packing, allowances for non-deliveries, refunds, bad checks. Be certain to allow yourself an adequate markup to assure profit. Test different prices to determine which selling price brings in the greatest amount of profit. Advertising. Don't attempt to start unless you can afford at least 2 or 3 ads or pay for a direct mailing to at least 1,000 names. Plan to advertise consistently. Use ad space relative to sale price, i.e., use small size ads for low-priced items and larger ads for more expensive items. Items priced over $3 usually do not sell as profitably through classified ads. In space ads, offer products in the $3 to $10 price range. It's usually better to advertise for inquiries if an item sells for $10 or more. 2 small ads will generally produce more business than 1 ad twice as large. Keep repeating ads as long as they continue to be profitable. Don't waste unnecessary space, advertising is expensive. Don't expect to make a killing from 1 ad or mailing. Consistent advertising is the key to mail order/internet sales success. The media. Newspapers with mail order sections bring quick returns and are acceptable for initial test. Results are not usually as good as from magazine ads for long-range pull. Use only publications with the type of readership who will react favorably to your type of product or offer. Unsold inquirers should be followed up with special inducements or with new offers. Rent names only from reliable brokers or mail order/internet sales sources. Use only lists of people who are logical prospects for your offer. Compile a mailing list from your own inquirers and customers. Offer your names to list brokers, this is a good source for extra income. Advertise in publications which feature large mail order/internet sales sections, place ads in the same issues or sections that your competitors advertise. Shipments. Fill and ship orders promptly. Mail order buyers get edgy with delays. Use plain but sturdy packing to ship orders. Ship via parcel post or UPS, whichever is cheaper. Use neatly printed shipping labels. Specify return guaranteed on labels or package. Terms of payment. Accept personal checks, few bounce. Avoid CODs unless you receive sufficient down package to assure you have collected enough to cover the costs of the return, plus costs of handling and repacking the merchandise. Don't offer to sell on credit or time payments unless item is high priced and you can afford to carry credit accounts. The customer. Consider the customer your greatest asset. Acknowledge that he is always right, even when he isn't. Handle complaints promptly, write courteous explanation. Offer replacement if product is broken or damaged. Issue immediate refunds, adjust overpayments promptly. Promote new or other products to your customer list. No other class of prospect will be as responsive. Work your customer list until it no longer proves profitable. You as the business owner. You control the destiny of your mail order/internet sales business. Be energetic, devote as much time as you can spare to advance your enterprise to a more profitable future. Be determined to make your mail order/internet sales business a huge success. Learn as much as you can about mail order/internet sales techniques. Be original, exclusive. Copy successful methods and techniques, always strive to improve on them. Keep searching diligently for new, exclusive products. Don't become disappointed by a slow start or discouraged by a failure or two along the way. Always perform professionally, an amateur does not get paid for his services. Build your own financial pyramid, reinvest profits into productive programs that may mushroom your profits steadily. Avoid being an easy mark for get-rich-quick schemes, start and operate your business on sound principles. Chapter 2. Mail order/internet sales topics. Bad checks. You can avoid bad checks by accepting only credit cards, PayPal-like service or money orders which can be forged too, so cash them before you send your product. All businesses receive bad checks at one time or another. Generally, a bad check is returned to your bank because the person who issued the check has insufficient funds in their checking account. The best way to prevent losing money because of a bad check is to hold up the shipment of the order until you're certain the check is valid. Simply wait approximately 15 working days before shipping the order. This is especially true of larger orders, say orders over $20, orders received from new customers whose credit record is unknown to you, and if the check looks suspicious for any reason. When you receive a check that bounces, the best way to handle the situation is to write a polite note telling the check writer that their check has been returned due to insufficient funds, or whatever reason your bank gives. Include a photocopy of their check as proof. Do not return the original check since you will need this as evidence. If you receive no reaction after the first notice, send 2 more, approximately 2 weeks apart. Be firmer in your second and third letters. If the check writer ignores all 3 notices, write to the bank of origin and request the bank to hold the check for collection and include the check. If you cannot collect on the bad check, all is not lost. If your business is properly registered with your state government and IRS, you can always declare bad checks on your income tax as a legitimate tax deduction. Real checks have at least one perforated edge. Forgeries are sometimes cut out copies from a color copier, but increasingly with the advent of high-tech graphics software, a lot of people can forge checks very easily via the computer, so be wary regardless of how good the check looks. Some people steal checks in the mail, put them in a chemical solution that gets rid of the written ink but leaves everything else intact, then simply write in what they want. If you get a check that looks like it was wet then dried out, beware. The print on real checks is supposed to be dull. Forgeries have shiny print. Business expenses. As a rookie in any business, you need to learn how to control your enthusiasm, or it's going to cost you lots of extra money. In this state of enthusiasm, we tend to think that there is nothing we can do wrong, and since we will be making lots of money in a few months, why not buy all necessary and often unnecessary supplies and equipment? It would be much better to wait until profits of the business make it possible to acquire what is needed. In the meantime, you can make do with less. To be able to do so is a most important quality for the owner of a small business. There will be a never-ending sequence of surprises, and as the business grows, so will its demands and its expenses. Start-up expenses, initial stage. The below-listed expenses will be incurred in the early stages of setting up your business. This is at a time when you probably are not sure as yet what you will be selling. You will be writing to different companies for information to come up with the right product selection. Once you have decided what you will be selling, you have to line up reliable suppliers. Although most expenses incurred in this phase are relatively small, they will add up quickly. Stationery and envelopes. Miscellaneous office supplies. Postage. Educational. Start-up expenses, secondary stage. You have now reached the point at which you have decided upon one or more reliable suppliers for the product you wish to market. You may also be ready to have some promotional material printed. In addition, you may be placing 1 or 2 classified ads for testing purposes. Dealership or distributorship, 1 or more. Small supply of brochures or catalogs. Printing of sales letter, order form, return envelope, etc. 1 test ad, classified, national magazine. Business or trader's license. Postage. Until now, you have only had expenses for your new business. You have not derived any revenue yet. In the next and final stage of starting your business, you may have some revenues. Stage 1 and 2 may take from approximately 3 to 6 months. Start-up expenses, third stage. You have now reached a stage where you will expand your advertising, or alternately you may go the direct marketing route and rent a mailing list. The comparison of expenses and revenue results of a direct marketing effort versus classified advertising need to be carefully evaluated. The major expenses are: cost of product. These are the items you buy from your suppliers for resale to your customers. In the first 2 years of operation, your cost of product will be higher than later when you can buy in larger quantities at better prices and when you have a good understanding of what sells. You may, for example, elect to have some sales leaders which have minimal mark UPS, but you feel that they will generate additional sales. Your markup may be as little as 10%. On the other hand, you will have items that have mark UPS of 10 or even 20 to 1. In establishing your pricing, you must be aware what your competition charges. It's best to be in line or slightly below your competition. You may choose to charge more than your competition because you give more or better service. Do not succumb to greed. Newcomers to the mail order/internet sales business sometimes commit this folly. Since volume of sales is ultimately more important than profit per item, careful pricing is important. The dropship method is a good way to go for a beginner. This way you do not have to tie up any startup capital for inventory. You want to be sure you're dealing with a reliable company. As soon as your volume increases, start shipping and you will be in a position to enclose your promotional material. Advertising. This is a major expense for a new mail order/internet sales company, and in the early months of building your business, it may be your highest expense. Essentially, there are only 2 ways to find new customers: via advertising or via direct mail. Although many newcomers have a fascination with mailing lists, they will soon learn that advertising is more effective and less expensive. Response for a well-written classified ad in a monthly publication may vary between $60 to $250 depending on the publication and the season. The national average for conversion from inquirer to buyer is between a low of 5% and a high of 12% depending on price and other factors. COD/cash on delivery. If you're selling a relatively low-priced item, less than $50, such as a book, gift item, etc., you can either use COD, cash on delivery, or inquiry method. The major advantage of COD shipping is speed if you use an ad with a toll-free number. The order instructions are captured on your answering machine and can be processed and shipped immediately. The major disadvantage to the COD method is that it's likely that 40% to 55% of all orders shipped will come back to you because the UPS driver or US postal route carrier. COD orders can be shipped either by United Parcel Service or by US Mail, could not make delivery and get paid. Proponents of COD shipping claim, even with the huge amount of undeliverable goods, that this method is still their favorite. Marketers who hate COD shipping usually can't emotionally handle all those undeliverable, unpaid for shipments. COD shipping works for some, but in this era of credit cards, why bother? If someone is not willing to pay upfront with a credit card, why take that risk to send them something that they might not pay for? It has a smell of sleaziness to me. If you get involved in COD shipping, send a postcard to the responder one day before you ship the order. Say something like, "Thank you for your order for our amazing," fill in the name of the product here, "your order is being processed and will be shipped immediately. Please be sure to have $___________ total amount available to pay the UPS driver when he calls." In addition to receiving the fill-in product name, we are also including a special free bonus with your order. We know you'll love it. Thanks again for ordering. We appreciate having you as a customer. One marketer was able to reduce returns by over 15%, by using this little ploy that added up to tens of thousands of dollars in 1 year. What should your free bonus be? You can come up with some inexpensive widget or low-cost report that relates to what you're selling. Another option to the COD method is the 2-step inquiry method. Sure, it's much slower. First you capture the name and address of the voice responder. Next you rush him or her. It's wise to mail within 48 hours, your sales literature and hope they place an order. This technique might work, but only for a certain category of people, like wealthy ones, as opposed to others who might try to scam you. Company address info. Most newly established mail order/internet sales businesses will operate out of their home until the volume of the business requires larger space. Most mail order/internet sales businesses prefer not to use their home address as their company address. If you do, you will advertise your home address in regional and national publications. You have two other choices: a post office box, pub, or a postal box located in a commercial enterprise which rents out mail boxes called a PMB. A pub is generally the least expensive both to rent and for advertising purposes. Some mail order/internet sales operators claim that it reduces business because people do not trust a pub address, yet there are just as many mail order/internet sales operators who prove them wrong. If you rent a mailbox in a commercial enterprise, your box number usually becomes a PMB number in the address. Look in the yellow pages under mailboxes or mail services. Almost all publications will charge you a full word charge for each component of your address, except the zip code and state, which is counted as one word, so pubs are cheaper from an advertising cost standpoint. Some mail order/internet sales companies do not show their phone numbers on their stationery, others do. I believe it gives the customer some comfort to see a telephone number even though he may never use it. You can show your resident's phone number in the appropriate printed material, or you can obtain a business listing for your home. The resident's phone is fine, for starters, if it's answered in a professional manner at all times. If you plan to sell higher priced ticket items, however, over $15, a business listing would be advantageous, since a prospective customer may pick up the phone and check with the information operator whether Company X is listed. If you're really good, you'll use your business address even if it's your home address, have a post office box, phone number, fax number, email address, and a website. Copycat info. Your greatest knowledge will come from quietly copying what the leaders in the industry are doing, but be an original too at the same time. Be careful about copying certain images or text word for word because some may be trademarked or copyrighted. Most everything that is worthwhile today is an approximate copy of something that came before it. Examine the sales materials of your competitors and notice what is selling for them, then copy it. There is nothing illegal about this. If something is selling for the other guy, then that same thing should sell just as well for you, all other factors being equal. You must recognize that when too many people try to sell the same product using the same advertising tactics, a vicious competitive circle often develops. Therefore, always strive to use your own great ideas in whatever it is that you're doing. Since most people will not necessarily switch from one product to another unless they have a good reason, such as price or quality, they will purchase your product only when they think it's better priced or is superior. By making a small change in the right direction, you can capture the market. Fulfilling orders. Depending on the type of product you have, you may prepackage a quantity to keep on hand. As you receive orders, record them immediately. You can buy gummed paper and have your computer printer print the labels out, or you can photocopy sheets of labels. If your customer doesn't include a zip code, be sure to look it up in the zip code directory at the post office or at USPS.gov. Different mail order/internet sales companies have different methods of filing customers. You can create separate lists of known buyers, lists of people who respond to specific ads in certain publications, lists of people who ordered specific items from display ads, or you can keep 3x5 card system that includes all the pertinent information for follow-up. Mail order taxes. All mail order/internet sales firms must register with local, state and federal agencies for tax purposes. Those that aren't registered are operating illegally. You must pay taxes on income derived from your mail order/internet sales business just like you would for any other job. It also means that you can avoid paying taxes on items that you purchase for resale to customers. Let us assume that you sell books by mail. For matters of simplicity, we will say that your book supplier is also located in your state. If you purchase a book from him for your own use, you must pay the regular tax on the book. However, if you purchase a book, which was ordered by a customer, you do not have to pay a tax on this item since it was purchased for resale. Similarly, if you order 100 one-page reports printed by your local printer, you do not have to pay a sales tax if these reports are going to be sold. However, If you order 100 copies of letterhead stationery for your own use, you must pay the sales tax. Office supplies required to operate your business are not for resale and, therefore, not tax-free, but anything you buy that you will resell to your customers is tax-free. This could amount to a considerable amount of money at the end of a year when your income taxes are due. State sales tax. You're required by law in most states to collect the appropriate state sales tax. This only applies for sales within your state. Out-of-state purchasers are not charged a sales tax. Only the end user pays sales tax. If you should be selling to a dealer, he can provide you with a sales tax exemption certificate. In this case, he is not required to pay the sales tax to you since he will be collecting it from his customers. State use tax. The use tax generally applies when a company buys supplies or equipment for its own use from an out-of-state business. It does not apply when material or merchandise are bought from an out-of-state company which will be resold. The use tax rate is the same as the sales tax rate. For specific information on regulations in your state, call the nearest state sales tax division in your area. Acquisition of equipment. When acquiring office machines, such as computers, copiers, furniture, etc., such expenditures are generally depreciated on your tax return over a period of time. For specific information, check with a qualified tax advisor. Expenses related to a home business. If a business is operated from home, in many instances a portion of rental, mortgage or other expense may be deductible when filing your income tax. The same may apply to utility expenses. There are specific laws pertaining to this, and again you should get professional advice. For more information, contact your nearest Internal Revenue Service office. Internal Revenue Service. 1111 Constitution Avenue, NW, Washington, D.C. 20224. 202-566-5000. 800 Tax Form. 800-829-1040. 800-829-4059, Hearing Impaired. Fax, 703-487-4160. irs.gov. Money back guarantee. Most people don't return merchandise even if they're not satisfied with it. It's the same philosophy as people not using money-saving coupons. Most people just forget about it. I want to erase the fear of offering a money-back guarantee. When you fully understand that most people won't return the product they purchase from you, you will be more receptive to providing them. If people know they can return an item they purchase through the mail at any time in the future, they're more likely to purchase it and never return it even if they're not satisfied. A money-back guarantee also builds confidence in your company. If a customer knows that you're offering a guarantee of some sort, they will automatically assume that your company is solid and that you stand behind the quality. This also tells them that you have an exceptional, high-quality product, since no one would offer a guarantee on a cheap and worthless piece of junk. Start using the words 100% no questions asked guarantee on your products. Printing your paperwork. If you don't have desktop computer capability, you'll have to get your sales materials printed by a commercial printer. Large printers will not be interested in your business. Small ones, quick printers, and instant printers, although convenient, are generally too expensive. Their equipment is not large enough to be competitive. Your best bet is to get a computer, make up your forms, then print them out as you need them, or get a scanner, scan a form in, save it as a file, then print it out every time you need it. Barring that, you can make your own copies either by using a photocopy machine at a place like Kinko's, located near college campuses, buy your own photocopy machine, or go to a place like Office Depot or Staples which have photocopy services. A certain percentage of your printing cost may be for material that will become obsolete before the supply is exhausted. This is especially true for beginning mail order/internet sales operations. You may decide to discontinue promoting an item and find yourself stuck with several thousand useless circulars. It's wise in the beginning stages of your new business to print in small quantities until you know exactly what sells and how it should be promoted. You may wish to make exceptions for certain items such as envelopes which have continued usage. Printing in small quantities will cost more per piece, but it's better than throwing money into a trash can. As your volume increases and you see fit to have larger volumes of given pieces printed, be careful in selecting your printer. In addition to price, you will, of course, also be concerned with quality and service. Make up your own ads with your Photoshop software. Learning how to think on a per unit basis is important in our business. The cost of printing, mailing, and other costs are generally quoted and calculated for 100 pieces, but to evaluate the cost effectiveness of mailing or advertising, etc., get used to thinking in the per unit mode. Your best bet is to buy a computer, create your own product, print it out via laser printer, then later buy a used photocopy machine.